healing, and joy. I am your host, Andrea Lawful Sanders, and each day we will cover the topics that are informative and engaging while learning from each other. Good morning to each and every one of you. For those of you who are watching around the globe, because we have people watching from all over the place. I want to start this morning with the SEPTA funding, which is happening in Pennsylvania, and talk a little bit about that because there's been so much happening in Philadelphia, particularly as it applies to the Southeastern Pennsylvania Transportation Authority, otherwise known as SEPTA. Good morning, Bobby. Good morning, Laura. And so last night, yesterday evening, I got a link from, I believe it was Marguerite, and began listening to the Pennsylvania Senate hearing. Good morning, Carlene. Good morning, Nakia. And I sat there for hours just listening, trying to figure out what was going on so that I could be informative to all of you. Reached out to one of the state reps and I said, can you tell me what it is that I am missing here? Because it sounds to me like they are also tackling the budget. Well, let me give you an idea of, so the Pennsylvania Senate passed what they believe would be the proper budget bill for Pennsylvania Transit, which includes the Southeastern Pennsylvania Transportation Authority. However, the Democrats all voted no for it, and so they sent it back to the House. And meanwhile, they have a deadline. SEPTA has a deadline of August 14th, which is tomorrow. So I'm sure that they'll be meeting again today. The House will be meeting again today. And it doesn't seem likely that the House will take this bill, this thing that the Senate passed in order for funding for SEPTA. Good morning, Nikia. Good morning, Carla, Beatrice. I see all of you. So let me give you an idea. And I do have a guest today who is 16 years old. You know how much I love the young people. So we'll get to that in a minute. Let me see if I can give you an idea of what happened. This was written by Hayden Mittman, Brendan Brightman, and Lauren Mike for NBC 10. Lauren, forgive me if I messed up your name. It's Mayk. The Republican-controlled Pennsylvania State Senate passed the SEPTA funding bill on Tuesday night, but Democrats seem unlikely to go along with the measure, leaving the two sides gridlocked with around 24 hours to go. Good morning, Netta and Viola Richburg-Gray. The transit bill is different than what the Democrats passed in the House on Monday and would set up a state's transit fund for SEPTA. State Democrats who spoke to NBC 10 seem to indicate that the bill the Senate passed will be stalled, meaning the two sides will have 2 days to come up with a deal before SEPTA's fare hikes and 20% service cuts are locked in for August 24th, 2025. Well, listen, I think we are really at a distant point right now, said State Senator Scott Martin, a Republican from Lancaster County. Martin said the transit bill the Senate passed will set up a state fund for SEPTA for 2 years and bring more accountability to the transit service. For those of you who are listening to this, there has been a conversation for years about SEPTA's not managing their monies properly. This is just it's been in the news for years that SEPTA's not managing their monies properly. There've been emergency gap stops year after year after year with different governors. Governor Shapiro right now, Governor Wolf. It was just a constant thing that was happening, and so there's been complaint that SEPTA has mismanaged what they've been given. And in the meantime, in other states, they have new rail systems, updated systems, and SEPTA just seems to be chugging along. So that's been the debate. The Democrats say that SEPTA is not being funded properly, and we need to do something better. Okay, so Senator Vincent Hughes, a Democrat from Philadelphia, called the transit bill a non-starter and urged the Senate to pass the bill the Democrat-controlled House passed earlier this week. So let me read to you what the Democratic-controlled House passed this week. What was in the bill that was passed on Monday? As detailed by Democratic State Rep Sean Doherty, who sponsored the legislation, the new bill would increase allocations from state sales tax from 4.4% to 6.15% to provide $292.5 million for mass transit throughout the state. The funding would then help SEPTA bridge its $213 budget gap. Then, in an effort to reach across the aisle, Doherty's bill also includes language from Republican State Senator Joe Picosi's recent bill that intends to add additional oversight to SEPTA. My bill provides the necessary fund to keep SEPTA and all transit agencies across this Commonwealth moving, coupled with all the reforms demanded by our Senate Republican colleagues, Doherty said when introducing his bill before the state's House Transportation Committee recently. Here is the additional oversight that they wanted to have. With SEPTA. Uh, the proposal would increase safety, security, and accountability for SEPTA, right? They're asking that SEPTA meets necessary benchmarks and do the hard work of reimagining what its services look like, making them better for everyone who utilizes the service. So that was that. And yesterday there was just one state Republican got up and said, "Now you know how it feels when we wanted such and such done 15 years ago, or when Wolf did this, several years ago." And we were like, I was like, "Wait, what is happening here?" And I would hear State Rep Darisha Miller Parker, who would come on once a month here on the show with me, and she would say, "You all don't understand because you're not watching, you're not seeing what's happening. No one's visiting the state house to see the rhetoric that's going on." So it was an eye opener for me to open up and see what they were dealing with, what they were talking about. Wow, it was frustrating. State Senator Sharif Street got up a couple of times. State Senator, and I'm looking at his face. He's from Cheltenham. I'm looking at his face. I know him very well. I just can't. His name's not coming to me. And then State Senator Vincent Hughes got up and spoke a couple of times, and they were really against whatever this bill, this new passage, which seems to be let me tell you what State Senator Sharif Street, a Democrat, criticized the passed transit bill on the Senate floor before the vote, saying, "This is not a plan to fund mass transit. This is a plan to gut it, to make it all worse. Do you know how they plan to pay for it in the long run? By taking money out of the pockets of riders and making them pay for other people's roads and bridges." So on the Senate floor before the vote, State Senator Joe Picosi, a Republican from Philadelphia, said the bill would provide $1.2 billion for Pennsylvania's transportation networks over the next 2 years, including mass transit and roadways. This necessary funding is being done in a way that protects taxpayers, improves the safety of our transit system, and implements new accountability measures. But I'm telling you, they are as far apart as night and day. So now we have to figure out what we can do, what is coming up next, and literally August 14th is tomorrow. So they should be all working today, trying to bring the two sides together. And I'm not sure what that's going to mean for the writers and the people that use SEPTA consistently. Oh, hey, good morning, Sissy Pooh. Good morning, Tammy. Good morning, Viola. I see you all here. Good morning, Beatrice, Carla, all of you. So I wanted to discuss something else with you because, some years ago, and it created quite a furor in Abington. Blackstone, the owner of Blackstone, major company, gave $25 million to the school district and insisted that it should build a whole new computer wing, computer lab, and that children need to learn how to code. There was a lot of furor around it. The families were angry about the way it was being done, and it ended up, the superintendent ended up having to resign. We got a new superintendent. All of that was, I mean, it was a huge deal going on in Abington. And so to read this now really makes me wonder. And I tell people this all the time. I've said this to all of you, and I'm going to keep saying it. Follow your bliss. Follow what makes you happy. Follow what you would do without getting paid for it. Right? You could just sit here and just do what you want to do because these children did what they were told. They, computer labs, they, signed up to be computer programmers and coders, and they're the ones that are losing their jobs now with alacrity. Listen to this. New York Times wrote this article. Natasha Singer wrote it. She covers tech companies and their social impacts. Growing up near Silicon Valley, Manasai Mishra remembers seeing tech executives on social media urging students to study computer programming. The rhetoric was, she said, if you just learn to code, work hard, and get a computer science degree, you can get six figures for your starting salary. Miss Mishra, now 21, recalls hearing as she grew up in San Ramon, California. Those golden industry promise helped spur Miss Mishra to code her first website in elementary school, take advanced computing in high school, and major in computer science in college. But after a year of hunting for tech jobs and internships, Miss Mishra graduated from Purdue University in May without an offer. I just graduated with a computer science degree, and the only company that has called me for an interview is Chipotle, Miss Mishra said in a Get Ready With Me TikTok video this summer that has since racked up more than 147,000 views. Since the early 2010s, a parade of billionaires, tech executives, and even US presidents has urged young people to learn coding, arguing that the tech skills would help bolster students' job prospects as well as the economy. What I found to be so disingenuous about all of that urging was that they all knew that AI was growing. They all knew that AI was a thing. And I think they wanted to get people in. This is just Andrea talking. I think they really wanted to get people into coding to help them do what they needed to do to get those machines running the way they needed to. Because, for instance, my goddaughters got into, that's how they graduated from Spelman, from Morehouse, from Spelman, and got really great jobs. And then all of a sudden, people started and they were making six figures. Everybody that got coding jobs were making six figures and did the work. And then all of a sudden, whole departments are being shut down. Whole departments are they're getting rid of. And so when we began to research, this is exactly what we found, right? So here is the typically, their starting salary is more than $100,000 plus $15,000 hiring bonus and stock grants worth $50,000. Brad Smith, a top Microsoft executive, said in 2012 as he kicked off a company campaign to get more high schools to teach computing. And they did. They hired at $100,000 plus the $15,000 bonus plus stock grants worth $50,000. So you would graduate from college making 140, $160,000 a year. The financial incentives plus the chance to work on popular apps quickly fed a boom in computer science education, the study of computer programming, and processes like algorithms. Last year, the number of undergraduates majoring in the field topped 170,000 in the United States, more than double the number in 2014, according to the Computing Research Association, a nonprofit that gathers data annually from about 200 universities. But now, the spreading of AI programming tools, which can quickly generate thousands of lines of computer code, combined with layoffs at companies like Amazon, Intel, Meta, and Microsoft, is dimming prospects in a field that tech leaders promoted for years as a golden career ticket. The turnabout is derailing the employment dreams of many new computing grads and sending them scrambling for other work. Among college graduates ages 22 to 27, computer science and computer engineering majors are facing some of the highest unemployment rates, 6.1% and 7.5%, respectively. And it is showing up. Yesterday alone, by the time I talked to the fourth person, I called and said they had lost their jobs. I now, by the end of the day, it was about 10 women, 10 Black women. And I went online and I asked folks if they could tell me about, what therapists, not just in Pennsylvania, but around the country. Some of the women now have taken to just not answering their phones. They're so depressed about not being able to work, so depressed about having these 160, $170,000 jobs. Some of them made it all the way to $200,000. And now those jobs have been swept from underneath them. They have whole households, all the things going on. And I since the first day I came on the air, and I think the first time I got on the air was 2016 with Michelle Lawrence. And I did some appearances with Chris Norris with Tech Book Online. Since the very first day I got on the air, one of the things I've said to all of you is live completely beneath your means, please. It may look like you have it, but I'm telling you, what goes up must come down, right? And there was a feeling in the air right around 2018 that some shift was coming, that a major shift was coming. And we kept saying, all right, we'll figure it out, right? Let's work through this. And we kept living the dream. We kept living the dream that really wasn't for us. And when we were making all that money, I am grateful to some of the women that I do know that when they were making the money, they bought housing, they bought properties, they bought things that they know could be residual income for them. So when they lost their jobs, they were able to have that residual income. Not everybody taught like that. Some people were living at their best lives. You're making the money. Let me go ahead and buy this. Let me go ahead and upgrade the house. Let me go ahead and move. And my husband would say to me, when he was like, I think we should. I want you to be in a newer house. And I was like, yeah, no, no mortgage. I'll take that. Right. And I'm sure folks were like, what now? Now we're in a space where if everything shuts down, if everything shuts down, we'd still be okay because we're living completely beneath our means. And I've asked you all this over and again, but we tend to believe that when we're going to be in a job or a position, we'll be there forever. And on top of that, when you're in these positions, make sure that you're treating people well because the same people that you tore up going up is the same people that you're going to see coming back down. And if you have a reputation for not treating people well, for not being kind to your employees, for you name the thing here, when it's your time to turn to look for a job, you're going to have a hard time. You're going to have a hard time. 6.1% and 7.5% respectively in unemployment is no joke, right? They say here, and that is a report from the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, that is more than double the unemployment rate among recent biology and art history graduates, which is just 3%. I'm very concerned, said Jeff Forbes, a former program manager, director for computer science education and workforce development at the National Science Foundation. Computer science students who graduated 3 or 4 years ago would have been fighting off offers from top firms. And now that same student will be struggling to get a job from anyone. In response to questions from the New York Times, more than 150 college students and recent graduates from state schools, including the universities of Maryland, Texas, and Washington, as well as private universities like Cornell and Stanford, shared their experiences. Some said they had applied to hundreds. This is what I keep hearing over and over and over again. They applied to hundreds and in several cases, thousands of tech jobs at companies, nonprofits, and government agencies. The process can be arduous, with tech companies asking candidates to complete online coding assessments, and for those who do well, live coding tests and interviews. But many computing graduates said their months long job quest often ended in intense disappointment or worse, companies ghosting them. Yep, 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 yep. I remember this happening to son number two, and they asked him to, put together, a specific uh, workload about what he would do. He had to do a presentation, blah 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 blah. One company offered him a job, and he kept waiting for them to get back to him around, what they sent him all the paperwork and then they just ghosted him. Fortunately for him, another major company offered him a job at the same time, gave him a car and all the other things that came along with it. And he's completely living beneath his means. He's like, I'm not moving. I'm not doing anything different because I don't know what's going to come of this. And so because he learned that lesson, and it took him 19 months to find full-time work. So the answer that the thought that I have for all of you is this: make sure you have more than one skill. Make sure you know how to pivot and do other things, because he has such a beautiful face. Companies were calling him to model their facial products, and he made it in Ebony magazine as an influencer in that time, for facial products. I didn't even know he was doing it because he didn't tell me. And it was somebody, when I was asking for face stuff for my face, they were like, your son. I called him. They sent him all this facial products, so he learned how to pivot. And the other thing he said to me was, I'm not coming home, so I'm going to figure this out. And figured it out. He did. He was able to pivot, right? Using some other skills that he had. So while you may have a great job right now, you see what's on the table, make sure you have some other skills that you're utilizing. Okay. Some faulted the tech industry, saying they felt gaslit about their career prospects. Others described their job search experiences as bleak, disheartening, or soul crushing. Among them was Zach Taylor, 25, who enrolled as a computer science major at Oregon State University in 2019, partly because he had loved programming video games in high school. The tech industry's jobs seemed plentiful at the time. Since graduating in 2023, however, Mr. Taylor said he has applied for 5,762 tech jobs. His diligence has resulted in 13 job interviews, but no full time job offers. You know what that does to the soul of your children? Right, and for those of you who just saw it happening to your children, do you know what it does for the soul of you? Which is why I wrote yesterday and asked for the names of great therapists. I needed a litany of therapists because one person could not handle all the crushing amount of um, layoffs that were happening to so many people. The job search has been one of the most demoralizing experiences I've ever had to go through, he added. The electronics first, where he had a software engineering internship yet last year, was not able to hire him, he said. This year, he applied for a job at McDonald's to help cover his expenses, but he was rejected for lack of experience, he said. He has since moved back home to Sherwood, Oregon, and is receiving unemployment benefits. Can you see what's happening here? Do we see the handwriting that's on the wall here? It is difficult to find motivation to keep applying, said Mr. Taylor, adding that he was now building personal software projects to show prospective employers. Computing graduates are feeling particularly squeezed because tech firms are embracing AI coding assistants, reducing the need for some companies to hire junior software engineers. The trend is evident in downtown San Francisco, where billboard ads for AI tools like CodeRabbit promises to debug code faster and better than humans. The unfortunate thing right now, especially for recent college grads, is those positions that are most likely to be automated are the entry level positions that they would be seeking, said Matthew Martin, U.S. senior economist at Oxford Economics, a forecasting firm. Tracy Camp, the executive director of the Computing Research Association, said new computer science graduates might be particularly hard hit this year because many universities were just now starting to train students on AI coding tools, the newest skill sought by tech companies. And by the time they finish the AI coding tools, guess what? The machine would have been much faster again. Some graduates described feeling caught in an AI doom loop. Many job seekers now use specialized AI tools like Simplify to tailor their resumes to specific jobs and autofill application forms, enabling them to quickly apply to many jobs. At the same time, though, companies inundated with applicants are using AI systems to automatically scan and reject candidates. Wow. Wow. Tell me your thoughts around this because, I've had Chris Norris on. Chris Norris is going to come on once a month for us to now talk about AI. It's just something that we need to do. Um, and it is so frightening. He and I talk almost every day. And the other day he sent me a thing and he said, Andrea, these things are going to be so much faster than we are. There will be no need for us, even when we decide that we want to use them or we want to, reprogram them. That's the done deal. They've tried to reprogram the computers to get them to do what they want them to do. The computers shut them down and reprogram and then tell other computers this is what the humans are trying to do. And I'm not sure if many of you are yet aware that this is a thing. That this is a thing. So, what do we tell our children? What do we tell ourselves? When Chris and I spoke the other day, we talked about the fact that if you are right now AI can't, if you're a plumber, if you're an electrician, and I'm sure it'll figure out ways for that right now, sooner rather than later. But if you have skills that are tangible, right? If you have skills that can help you make a living, if you have soft skills that can help you earn a little bit of income, because the housing crisis is a real thing, and many more people are becoming unhoused, which is a real thing. And even as I began speaking about this in October, November of last year, that this was coming, and no one believed, and we kept saying, please get yourselves ready because everybody had their jobs. What I did not know was that there were quite a few people that were being laid off already, that were silently moving ahead, still going on vacation, still doing all the things outwardly, until it got to the point where they just couldn't anymore. It is difficult to sleep when you don't know how you're going to pay your mortgage. It's difficult to sleep when you have children in private school, a mortgage, you have car payments, you got all the things, because you were ready and available and waiting, because this job that you had was going to cover everything that you had. So I'm going to say it again. despite making six figures, live completely beneath your means. Really look at your bills and figure out what is it that I want to do with what I have. If I want to go on vacation, how can I go in the cheapest way possible? Instead of spending $20,000 for a house in South Carolina on the beach, and and you try to figure it out, and everybody's putting in $4,000 or $5,000 to bring their whole families, whatever that is. What can you do that's simpler and cheaper right here, closer to where you are at home? There are so many empty houses, and I'm telling you, that is just trickling out of Martha's Vineyard. The amount of empty rentals this year that people had signed up for, but had to forfeit because they had lost their jobs. Remember, Martha's Vineyard is a place where Black folks go and hang out. The Black elite go and hang out. So with 300 and plus thousand of them losing their jobs, everybody is starting to feel the pinch. Nail salons are empty. Here shops. So far Duafe's hanging in there because we want to get our hair done, and the way Duafe does it, you can hold on to your hairstyle for 3 weeks to a month. So that makes sense to people instead of going into the hair salon every week. But you are seeing the restaurants are not doing as well. People are starting to talk about it, and they don't know if, when school is back in session, if the restaurant industry is going to pick up, because if the parents aren't working and they've got to figure out, particularly even if their children are not in private school but they're in public school, I got to make sure my children are eating, make sure that they have clothes to wear to school for the school year. But we have so many times not taught ourselves to do thrift shopping, going to thrift stores. I love a thrift store. I do. I go. I got real pearls in a thrift store for $2. It's just, it's that hunting, not spending a whole lot of money, and knowing what you're looking at when you go out and do the things that you need to do. And nobody, you go, you wash your clothes, you wear them. I did that for years as my children were going through school. I told him, I said, you're not going to Abercrombie and Fitch and spending $45 for a t-shirt. Go to the thrift store, find one that's gently used or new, or new, or no one has ever worn. Bring it home, we'll wash it, and you can wear it. So my children learned at an early age, right? That it wasn't, the label on your back and spending that kind of money. And now as they're older, I am watching them, and they're not buying designer label anything. They're like, mommy, we learned the lesson. We figured it out. When you got to pay your own bills as an adult, it looks different, right? So I'm hoping that this is helpful to so many of you, because we're not in a good place. We're just not in a good place, and I don't know how this is going to manage itself. And now with SEPTA, with their looming cuts in Pennsylvania, what's going to happen to the people who need public transportation, to get to work or to get to school? Laura, I wish we would do this. I think we really need to consider moving together, especially if you're renting. It's time to consolidate our expenses before we hit rock bottom. Absolutely. Absolutely. But pride, there's the pride. I'm not living with anybody because, I work so hard to get here. They need to figure it out. And instead of consolidating their expenses and working together and cooking together and doing all the things that they need to do, they just don't, until their house go into foreclosure. And then they're like, well, I need some help for XY. We've got to think it through. We really have to think it through. And there is no shame in moving back in with a parent or a relative or whatever else, providing that you all can work to get along, because some people you just can't live with. You just, but they'll find somebody. We have a saying in Jamaica, every O of them stick a bush, right? So you'll find somebody that you can live with and live with comfortably. But you don't want people in your house that are going to take advantage of you and not pull their fair weight and all that other stuff. So you got to know the family members that you can live with and the family members that you just cannot. And that is okay. Sometimes it's a friend that have your same values and will do what they need to do, and everybody will work together. That you want to make sure that you're doing. I'm telling you, Laura, it's I don't know. And you, for those of you who have been with me forever, you know that I've been saying this for a long, long time. For a long, long time. And so now we're here. So you get to decide if you want to do what you need to do to save your houses, to save your, to until you get jobs that you absolutely need. Um, oh, Jesus. All right. Okay. So there we are. Let's see. Nasira McKnight Turner is going to come on. She's a 16-year-old native that attends Community College of Philadelphia and Mastery Thomas High School. She wants to be an esthetician, a pediatric nurse, labor and delivery, or a sonographer. She has always wanted to be in nursing or the beauty industry. And so I can't wait. There she is. And just like that, you let her in.
Hi. Hi.
Hi, sweetie pie. Good morning.
Hi.
If I could interview children, if I could interview young people, I would all the time. You all are just you're a breath of fresh air, I'm telling you. So let's I just introduced you. Let me read this again so that people know who you are. Nasira, I said that
Ye-
properly, right?
Yes.
Nasira McKnight Turner is a 16-year-old Philadelphia native who attends the Community College of Philadelphia and Mastery Thomas High School. She wants to be an esthetician, a pediatric nurse, labor and delivery, or a sonographer. She has always wanted to be in the nursing or beauty industry. You're joining me today to talk about what career path you'd like to choose for your future. And you also need to talk to me about being enrolled in college at the age of 16. Welcome to Mornings with Mother, my darling.
Hi. Okay, so do you want me to answer?
So tell me first about being in college at the age of 16 and high school at the same time.
So it wasn't really hard, but the one thing that was difficult was the change of scenery. So teachers in high school, they give children a lot more leeway. They give students a lot more chances. But in college, they don't. It's like
Mhm.
a hard reality check, and you only get 1 to 2 chances with college professors. A lot of the times, they don't really. It's not that they don't care about what happens out of school, but they just feel as though it's not their problem. So, it's definitely a reality check.
Do you believe that your college professors are teaching you that real life is just that, right? That
Yes.
when you get out into real life, you one or two chances.
Yes.
Yeah. So you learn the difference. That's one difference. What are the differences you learn between high school and going to college?
The work is a lot more specific. Like, for one of my classes, I had to write a it was an entrepreneurial class, so we had to make a whole. He would ask us about 4 questions, and out of those 4 questions, we have to make a whole paragraph. And sometimes they could be questions that can be answered with a very simple answer, but it had to be a whole long paragraph. So I had to learn how to be more in depth with what I'm saying,
Right.
use different words instead of saying all the time, and being able to articulate myself when I
Mhm.
don't really know how to. So
You're
it was.
doing it beautifully right now. You do. I watched a Pennsylvania Senate hearing yesterday, and I watched state senators get up and could barely speak properly. I was stunned. I was astounded. Speaking is a skill, and it's one where you must focus, because even I right now, as I am doing this with you, I have to think not to say or it's a skill. And when you have dead air, it's difficult to not go there. So your college professors are doing the right thing with you. What made you decide? How old were you when you decided to get in? You were 16 or earlier?
I was 16. I just started this summer.
You just started this summer.
Yeah.
Okay. So talk to me a little bit about going to Mastery High School, what it is like to be educated in the Philadelphia public system. Are you enjoying it?
So there's some pros and cons with being in a charter school or or a school like that. So sometimes the curriculum is good. I feel like I learned a lot with being in there. The teachers, they're nice. They give certain students more or less leeway. Certain there are a couple students in there who isn't really looking to learn, so then that could be a distraction. But other than that, it's pretty good, I would say.
Yeah.
I have fun at that school. We do have
Mhm.
trips and stuff like that. We have fundraisers every once in a while.
What did your family tell you about high school and college, or about life in general? Because you're now 16, you're 2 years away from graduating from high school, right?
Well, yes.
What did your family tell you about adulthood, becoming an
Basically,
adult?
they told me some things like how my college professor was telling me how you only get a couple chances, or you might get only one chance. You don't even get more than one. Um, Things, they don't just come your way. You have to actually work for what you want, and you really have to work for what you want. And bills, that's also something. Whenever you pay a bill, there's always another bill that comes right after that.
Eshadamo, Eshara, listen, Lashara. This is us every month. My youngest son says, "I'm tired of adulting." Uh, Andrea said, "I adore this young lady. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Oh, thank
You're,
you.
you're listen. The way you're comporting yourself is beautiful. You are so beautiful."
Oh, thank
Viola says she's pretty. I love her style, how it's wrapped in the color. If you could inspire someone your age who feels uninspired, who feels like nothing is working for them and their families, what would you say to them?
I would say that, okay, so I know that everyone says this, but it's really true. Like, you really have to, when you want something, you're going to get it. So if you really want to succeed, you have to put in the effort. It might seem a lot, and you might not know where to start, but as long as you start somewhere, you're going to get places. Like, if you're in high school and you want to start doing college early, then you have to look up these programs. I was able to get into a free program, so all of my classes were free, but you really have to put in the effort within yourself, and you have to make time for yourself to make sure you don't get burnt out. And you have to make sure you put effort into what you want in life, because everything doesn't come easy.
Lord, can I talk to 1,000 more of you every week? You're inspiring me. Old as dirt as I am right now, you're inspiring me. Talk about, you have 3 or 4 different things that you're looking at that you want to do in life. What is your top of the three?
There's, I would say, two main things, something that
Okay.
I've always wanted to do since I was little, and that's esthetician, being an esthetician or cosmetology. But I feel like they kind of go hand in hand
Mhm.
in nursing. So my mom, she's a nurse, so she's always helping people, and she's the type of person that gives and gives, and I really love that about her. So once I've seen her go into the nursing field, like, I just feel like that's something that I would want to do, because I also love to help people. And there's a lot of people who don't ask for help and who really need it. So being a nurse, you can really step up and see what someone needs without even asking them. Like, you could just look at them and you just be able to tell, you know?
Yeah, I can't even tell you how you're inspiring me today. It's it's an interest. So okay, nursing, and any particular field in nursing that you want to get into?
Pediatric, or I wanted to do like labor and delivery, or like sonography.
Yeah. Um, I was involved in a program in Abington called Vibe and Imagine, and one of the young ladies, I learned 2 days ago at lunch that she went on to become a neonatal nurse, and I just burst into tears because
Mm,
all we kept saying to them was, "Do your best, be the best at whatever it is that you can be. You're going to run into roadblocks. It's not easy." And while they were doing their best, we as the adults were a protective barrier around them to make sure that they were not treated horribly, you know?
yeah.
And to hear you, Laura says, "Out of the mouth of babes, she's wise beyond her years and a breath of fresh air." Mm,
Thank you.
yeah. And part of this is that I wanted people to hear you and for you to feel encouraged by what you are getting ready to go through. Donette says, "You are such a polished young lady. You're going to flourish in life.
Thank you.
You have all the key things, honey. And when life comes to knock you down, who are the people that inspire you right now? Because that's going to change."
Right now it's my
Mhm,
mom
mhm.
and my cousins
And your cousins.
and my
Why do
aunt.
they? Why
Yeah.
do they inspire you?
My mom, because people, they don't always treat her the best all the time, but she still treats everyone with kindness. Like, someone could say that they would do something for her one day, and then the next day they would not show up, not text her or anything, and she would still treat them like kindness the very next day that she sees them. With my cousins, they're so kind. Every time I'm around them, I never feel sad for long at all. Whenever I need advice, they always give it to me. Even though we're young, they still give me, I feel like, good advice for being young.
Mm-hmm.
My aunt, because she's also a nurse. She works overnight and she still makes time for her kids. Her and her kids, they have a really good relationship, and I feel like that's something that, a lot of parents forget about, especially when they're trying to make sure they take care of their children. So she still has a very good relationship with their kids, even though she works at night. And working at night can be really tiring. So
Yes.
that's one thing I love.
Is your aunt aware that you believe these things about her?
I don't know.
That she's going to
I
see
don't,
this? This is live. Somebody's going to share it with her. Because that's the best compliment you could give anyone. And the second thing that I hear from you is kind. Be kind. I have
yeah,
said this 1,000 times. We tend to have an attitude as human beings, especially in these last few years of the cancel culture, that when someone does something or make a misstep, or they're wrong in some way, that we want to destroy them.
yeah,
And I have always said, Dennis said, it's a joy to hear her energy. We can learn a lot by not giving up. Um, and I would always say to people in a time, and I say this over and over again, people now attribute it to me when they hear it. In a world where you can be anything, be kind. We can hold ourselves accountable and hold people accountable without trying to destroy them. Kindness will take you where all the money and all the degrees
yeah,
in the world will not. Are you hearing me, Nashara?
yes,
It absolutely will. And so for you to be 16 in you're going to graduate with an associate's degree and a high school diploma at the same time. Your college professors are teaching you how to embrace and reach out to real life. You're paying attention to the things that are going on around you. You see that kindness matters. You see that not giving up matters. But what did they say to you, that when life hits you, how have you navigated through trying time or trauma in your life?
so there was a period in my life where I let everything that was wrong consume me. But as I got older, I realized, one, I can't do that because my life doesn't stop just because something bad happens to me, and everyone else's life around me doesn't stop because something bad happens to them. So I had to figure out a way to get out of that. I started journaling, or I would just talk to. I have a therapist. I love my therapist. A lot of
Oh
people.
my God, the 16-year-old has a therapist. Can we get the adults together, please?
Yes, a lot of adults believe that they don't need therapists, and sometimes a lot of Black people, like, they really believe that, therapists, they're not really there for them. But no, I love my therapist. I love a therapist so much. Whenever I feel like I can't talk to someone, my therapist is right there. She always gives me good advice. And I know I'm a child, so I don't understand everything, but I feel like she also opens my eyes to, to different problems and solutions that I can have. And even if I'm wrong, she still tells me. And a lot of people, we don't like to hear that we're wrong, but I know that I'm wrong sometimes, and she'll definitely tell me.
Do you know how many adults believe they're never wrong, even when they're wrong as two left shoes?
Mm,
That will take you very far. And when you're wrong, say, I didn't get that right. I just didn't get that right. And let me start all over again and do it in a way. Oh, Mr. The Writer. Yes. Shout out to kindness. Yes, my brother. So good to see you here. You got to come see her on YouTube. She's adorable. Just talking. And the therapist. So many people don't believe in therapy. I'm telling you, folks are going through it. Now, let me ask you this. It's been said that young people are dealing with things that we, the adult, don't understand right now. Do you
yes.
see a lot of that with your peers? What are you seeing with your peers?
Yes. So, you know how I was telling you in school that some teachers, they don't give a lot of students leeway? Sometimes they don't see what kids are going through, um, and outside of school life. A lot of people don't like to talk about their feelings. A lot of people don't like to talk about what they're going through. A lot of kids, they really go through depression. I don't know what it is with this generation, but a lot of kids are really struggling and really going through depression. And
Did they say why, Nashara?
some people, sometimes it's family issues, sometimes it's just within themselves. They feel like they're not able to do anything, they're not meant for anything. Sometimes it's their friends, people around them. Sometimes people don't know how to pick people around them. So whenever they find someone cool, or wherever they find someone that has a little bit of the same interest, they gravitate towards them, not knowing that they're digging themselves into a deeper hole being around these people. um it's a lot of stuff with teens and depression and And a lot of adults don't believe that children can suffer because they feel like they don't have any bills to pay. They don't have any like work they have to go to every day. But it's not just about that. A
I'm
lot of
just sitting at you staring in awe, like this is beautiful. And if I was to follow the news, I'd believe no children like you exist in Philadelphia. There's so many of you,
they
so,
really
so many of you. And my ultimate goal is to continue to highlight young people like you. It is, and even when you're struggling to really find a platform where you can talk about those things, because there are parents on here who keep saying the same thing. You don't have any, what do you have to be depressed about? And I've been having the conversations about young people cutting, things going on. They're watching their mother struggle and they're trying to figure it out. They're afraid to walk to school because of, whatever's happening in the community. They're afraid to be, if they're friends with somebody and that person is in trouble with somebody in the community, then you're in trouble too, guilty by association. Um, Dennis says you can also be a good therapist. Just listening to you talk, he thinks you could be a good therapist. So add that to your list if you so feel. If you so. Oh, Pearly J.A. says she articulates so well and is truly inspiring. You're inspiring
oh
a lot of
thank
people.
you.
See? And Donette says, my God, she's so ahead of the game. Marguerite wanted me to ask you this question. Where do you find yourself socially? Do you find friends your age that are relatable, or do you feel like you're on this journey alone?
I feel like I do have friends my age who are along with me on this journey. I met a lot of different people at my college as well, and they're my same age. Um, yeah, I feel like I do have a nice group of people who I can do this with. Like sometimes they may not agree. They feel like I should live my children years, but I am. Even though I'm in college, I'm still living my children years. There's a lot of things that I can do with still being in college, and I think that's what scares a lot of kids. But you can do almost anything you want to do while still being in college, while still being at high school at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to make time for it.
Yeah. Do they think college and high school at the same time is too much work?
Yes.
Yeah, they do.
I'm a little scared to do dual enrollment right now, doing at high school and college at the same time, high school in the morning and college
Mhm.
in the evening. But I feel like I can do it.
I want you to think of college as the extra course that you take from what you're doing in high school. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because high school, you already see the difference from college to high school to college and what is expected of you. That's the same thing you're going to experience in where. Oh, Andrea says, please tell her whatever she needs. This network will help her get it. We're so proud of you.
Thank
Brilliant, she says. Brilliant. Aren't you glad you came on this
you.
morning?
Yes, I am.
I love, 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 love young people. All right. So give me three solid things you want to say to parents about young people that they may have missed, and then three solid things to young people who feel like they can't do what you're doing.
Okay, so three solid things to parents. Um, Taking care of your child is great. Like that's a great thing. Your children, they definitely do appreciate it, but money isn't always everything. Being there for your child is what really makes a child feel cared for. You can buy them all the shoes and all the everything, and of course they appreciate that. But really being there for your child, being able to listen to them when something is wrong, to talk to your child, and of course you're not going to be their best friend, but just being there for your child, being a safe space for your child is really one of the best things for a child. Another thing is
Y'all are taking notes because that was the most brilliant thing I'd heard in a long time. Taking care of your child is great. Money isn't everything. Being there to listen and to talk to your child, a safe space, is what matters.
yeah.
Beautiful. Number two, my darling.
Um, I feel like that's the main thing. I'm trying to think of something else that
That
could.
was a lot. That was one through five, literally.
Mm,
Um, so Pretty J.A. says our young people are depressed with hope slipping when they see all the foolishness the adults are up to. We're looking at the result of a great village. Absolutely. There are people in your life that are loving on you in a way, and it shows up beautifully.
Oh, thank you.
It does. It absolutely does. She is absolutely correct. So being a safe space, being a
Yeah.
safe
Oh,
space.
and also not really putting your problems on your child. So we know the struggle. We know that they're not perfect, but you taking out your anger on your child for having a bad day at work, that's it doesn't show them, it doesn't show them, I don't want to say maturity, but it doesn't show them what what you need to do when you become a grown up, because you can't treat everyone like how your day was. So yeah, just
I'm
you.
about to fall out my chair. So, in other words, you're teaching your child through your own actions
Yes,
how to behave, and it isn't always a beautiful sight.
you have to be mindful of your actions around children.
Be
A
mindful of
lot
your actions.
copy what we see our parents do. So if we see them treating everyone like how they day went, we're going to think it's okay, and it's not.
So, you do believe that when you see children acting up, it's a direct result of how the parents are behaving in front of them.
Sometimes, yes.
Sometimes, okay. Do you believe, because one of the things we've heard a lot is that children come to school and tell all the stuff that parents should tell their children their problems?
Can you say it again, please?
Do you believe parents should tell their children their problems with, their life, their love life? Because that's happening a lot. Teachers are telling me children are coming to school and repeating what their parents tell them. Do you think parents should tell children their adult business?
I feel like um maybe closer to my age, but don't tell your child everything. Just be transparent and just say that you know what they're going through because you went through it at that same age. But
So say it without saying it.
um
Understood.
um don't tell your children your problems. Just tell them that you understand what they're going through.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it can help you connect with your child, saying, telling each other y'all stories that can, that might be the same,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time, especially if you're younger, you shouldn't be telling your child about your love life. Like, no.
Baby, you got one more. One more. Do you have one more in you for advice for parents?
Um,
This is amazing.
I'm trying to think of one more.
Laura says, this girl right here, wisdom. Donette says, oh my goodness, this girl is wise, brilliant, and beautiful.
Oh,
I
thank.
want you to soak in all of this. A therapist, Mary Elissa May, says, I love everything about this conversation because guess what? You codified everything we talked about last week. Every single thing.
Really?
Yes, you did, my darling. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Without us, you didn't even know what we were talking about last week. And you came on here and said everything.
I really didn't know anything.
There you go. There you go. I'm so proud of you. So proud of you. All right. So, advice, three pieces of advice you have for young people who see you now and think that they can't do what you're doing.
Okay, so right now, I was thinking that if I do this, that I won't have time to do anything with my friends, anything by myself. But no, you actually do, and it might seem like it at first, but you actually have to make time to do it. A lot of children are scared to miss out on their children years, which I understand. But once I finish this program, I'm gonna have to do less years in college than me just being at high school right now and having all 4 years of college that I want to do. So I have a lot more time in the future than just putting in the work and effort right now. Um, a lot of kids, especially my age, they don't think it's cool to be smart, or it's definitely changing, but when I was growing up, it wasn't really cool to be smart. No, it's cool to be smart. I love feeling smart. Like, feeling smart is one of the best things, literally. Like, me telling someone something that they never knew, it just brings me joy. And, teaching someone, it's fun. Like, learning new things, learning how to do new things, learning how to talk to people, especially from a young age, so then you just don't grow up being clueless. That's fun. Don't think that being smart isn't cool, because it is.
Child, I'm about to
One
fall
more.
out my chair. And the third thing,
I would say don't grow up too fast. A lot of adults say this, but no, really don't grow up too it. Like I feel like because I'm only going to have one more year of high school left. Oh my gosh, I want to stay a kid. I don't want to be an adult. Yes, don't grow up too fast. You can still do, I won't say do adult things, but just be a child and just let adult things just come. Don't just jump towards adult things.
Lashara, where's your mother?
My mom's downstairs.
Can you text her and tell her to come upstairs, please?
Yes.
Because this right here, I want you to see what parenting looks like, so then you don't say things like, oh, you're so lucky that your children graduated from college, you're so lucky that your children are living on your own, you're so lucky, da 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 da. We have to teach our children to be critical thinkers. This young lady is a critical thinker. She's kind, as Viola Davis says, you is kind, you is smart, you is pretty. Her whole family, her village, she's a result of her village, and you can see that. And I've said to you all over and over again, be careful what you say in front of your children. Be careful how you present in front of your children. When relationships stop working, please don't make the babies the conversation about how worthless your husband or the father was, or well, just don't do that, because then they take it upon themselves. As Mary Alyssa May said, Laura says, I'm speaking in tongues over here. I'm telling you, this is brilliant. This is brilliant.
Thank,
It's a lot. When your mother comes into the room, let me know, please.
okay.
She said,
One thing I that it wasn't always like this. You know, that sometimes older people they feel they're kind of stuck in their ways. So when a child tries to tell them that something that they're doing is wrong, they may not listen. So one thing I had to be persistent into telling like my parents or just adults around me that you can't treat me this way, and just being able to speak up
oh,
because
you learned that at 16.
I was really shy when I was younger. I used to not speak up about anything, but once I started, I could not stop. I won't, you just don't take anything from everyone. And I know that some things aren't right. I might just have to take certain things from certain people, but if it's people that you're going to be around every day, you have to teach someone how to treat you. You can't just let them treat you any kind of way because
Lord Jesus. Lord Jesus. Lord
even
Jesus.
children, you can't let anyone treat you any kind of way. It's
It's
going to be both.
it's a lesson well learned. I'm going to transparent. Is your mama here?
He's coming in.
Mama,
I'm here. I'm here.
can
Hello.
I just tell you we're over here having a whole your child is amazing.
Allahumma barik me.
I have to tell you that it's bringing tears. What are the so ooh, who one of the premises that I work on, Nashara, is
Syra.
Nashara. Sorry, darling, because I'm teary now. Nashara. One of the things that I talk about all the time is that if we treat our children and treat the seasoned the seniors around us properly, then our villages won't burn down. And you just sat here in 30 minutes and had you should see the comments from the adults, mom. They're falling over. They just cannot get over. She talked about you, how you have been such an example for her. She talks about how kind you are, and that kindness is the thing that allows her to get to where she needs to go. She talks about her aunt who works really hard but still takes time for her children. She talked about finding her voice, and I'm crying because I know this is possible and we don't see it enough. You literally gave your baby her voice at 16 by honoring it. And I couldn't get off the air without sharing that with you, because she is a direct result of what you, her father, everybody in your village has put into her. Do you hear what I'm saying to you? And I know we're both crying because it is, we're so stressed about what's happening to our children.
And it's hard.
Ooh, baby.
It's hard. You never know the direction. You never know
Ooh.
Is no rule book, is no true God. Every child is different, trying to direct them, trying to steer them, not trying to have them Pinocchios, let them live, let them learn. And it is so hard. And it's hard navigating being a mom. It's hard navigating like when do I step off? When do I step on? It's so hard, and I just want to thank you, and I want to let you know I received this, and I truly appreciate it, because sometimes,
Oh, I know, baby. I know.
but
I
it was
know.
worth it. It
But I
was.
want to let you know live on the air on this 13th day of August 2025 at 7:31 a.m. You are doing the darn thing.
Thank you so much. Thank you
You're
so much.
doing it.
I truly want to thank my daughter for being receptive. We struggle with our kids, and we never know where their journey is going to lead them, where they're going to go, if they actually hearing it. And to be honest, I've been seeing, especially this summer, that my daughter had been hearing it. While other kids is trying to work, my daughter was going to college as a 16-year-old. While other students are out on the streets, my daughter was taking driver's ed, learning how to drive. She's my personal chauffeur right now. I just really want to appreciate you taking this time for my daughter. I know we really just met at the Philly C Scholarship Banquet.
I thought that's
And
who you were because you
it
walked
is,
up to me and told me about your daughter, and I said, "I promise you, I love young people. I will." Oh, you were there too.
yes.
Yes.
Actually
And
got
we did talk. Yes. Yes, we did talk. And listen, if I'm doing nothing, I keep my promise to young people, right?
I
And what
appreciate
I didn't expect was the amount of gems. Let me tell you what your child says. She says, taking care of your child is great. Money isn't everything. Being there to listen and talk to your child, you need to be a safe space. That's what she was saying to advice for parents. She says, do not put your problems on your child. Be mindful of your actions around your children. And she says, don't tell your child everything. It has to be age appropriate. So she said, instead of telling all the details, just say, I used to go through that at your age. I understand. This is from your child, right? Then for students, she says time management, that, they think they're going off to college while being in school means they're not going to be able to do the things that they could do. She said, nope, you can do that. She said, it is cool to be smart, mama.
mm,
Uh-huh. And she says, don't grow up too fast. She said, I know you hear adults say it all the time. She said, but really take the time to enjoy your life as a young person.
yes. Yes.
Marguerite says, so I have a whole village over here, and they all know that I love young people. Andrea says, whatever she needs, we got her. So you just got to stay in touch with us. And Marguerite says, please ask Mama how we, the village, can add to her succession. How can we help you?
I need some more sleep.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
Sometimes the village, I'm going to be honest, the village needs a village. I am often going 100 miles in a 25-mile zone.
Mm-hmm.
Not in real life though. Um, but
Understood.
I'm gonna be honest. It's hard. I'm often tired, but still going. Um, and sometimes my mom was there, but I'm also raising my daughter differently, because we're like, I'm first generation Muslim,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm also first generation college student, first
Mm-hmm.
generation post secondary education, and everything that I'm doing is different. Everything that I'm doing is hard, and it's really like when people say breaking generational curses, this is like the hardest thing I have ever done. And even my daughter, she haven't finished high school yet. For her going to college at 16 broke a generational curse, because my mom hasn't even finished ninth grade yet. So this breaking all these generational curses, I'm tired. I love the village. You see, I said, Auntie Andrea, I need your help. Come on, bring it on. Don't be afraid to ask for help. And as independent as I had to be, I'm learning to, it's okay to receive help. I'm always the helper. I don't necessarily receive help on a regular, but I accept help. it took me a little while to learn to accept help. I really need to learn to accept help.
Mm-hmm.
That's like my biggest battle, but also because I'm not used to receiving a whole lot of help.
Yeah, yeah.
So however
Listen,
you want to help me.
so well, you have access to me, so not everybody does. So if anybody asks you for my phone number, you don't know nothing.
What for?
Somebody, Pastor Waller, asked somebody for my phone number about a year ago, and they said, "Pastor, I love you, but I can't. I need to get her permission." When they
That's
finally talked to me, was like, "Wait, what?" It was so funny. But so reach out, and I'll let the village know. There's a young girl that watches by the name of Ruby every morning with her mother. She's 8 years old, and she will come on and talk to me. And when Ruby has concerts and stuff, and Mama invites us, we all show up and we bring gifts for Ruby. We open doors for her to go to different things, to different events. When I tell you, this village right here, we're about the babies. We're about the babies and we're about the elders. We really are, because we understand if we don't do this, our village is going to burn down right in front of us.
mm-hmm.
And I don't know how you got her to find her voice at 16, because my sons were so afraid of me growing up. And I mean, I didn't spank them, I didn't do any of those things, but my voice, you know, I
But
raised them the way I was raised. And I realized that I needed to break that, because there I was pushing back against some of the things that were said to me while I was being raised. And I only did it recently. And my 33-year-old son says, "Mommy, I love you, but you've got to respect me as an adult."
mm-hmm.
And at first I was angry and I was like, "Oh, he think," and then I had to stop cold turkey. I literally wrote a long letter and apologized to my grown son. And our relationship is that much better. But to hear your 16-year-old say it, half his age, you've done an amazing thing. You've done an amazing thing.
Thank you.
Hoocha. Oh. And so, that pretty Jamaica Ja says, she said mama is kind even when others aren't kind to her. She said you are kind even when others aren't kind to you, and that is telling. I mean, she spoke on. Listen.
So, in the sense of I receive and I heard you say, um, Nasira spoke about the kids don't need to know everything.
Yes.
That is sometimes true.
Hmm.
You gotta turn
Yeah,
the power box on.
it is. It's you just
Uh,
turned it off.
the I'm sorry. Give me 1 second. Her phone is about to die.
No worries, no worries. Nasara, I'm so proud of you, child. I'm so proud of you, young lady. Oh, and Marguerite says we also have some Muslimas in the village who can also help in that area, but they don't have to be Muslimas. They can just help. You know, we just can help. We just can help. I
Okay, there we go. I'm sorry. My daughter, I recently just dropped everything for like a whole week because I had a family member turn ill and go into the ICU. During this time where I'm supporting another family member, their immediate family wasn't supporting me. I was getting more support from the other side of the family than my family. And my daughter truly saw how it was. And she asked, do you think anybody will stop and drop their life how you do for them?
mm,
And so growing up, it was a whole bunch of stay in the child's place. It was a whole bunch of mind your manners and that don't got nothing to do with you. And one of the things that I've been finding, because a lot of times we have a lot of feelings and emotions as mothers that we try to hide from our kids, and they don't understand what's going on or why we so overwhelmed, and it's just supposed to be a regular day, not knowing all the hundreds and thousands of things that we're thinking about. So I learned to be open and honest about so much with my daughter without scarring her, without traumatizing
mhm,
her. But you're 16. This is a part of learning and
absolutely.
growing. Let me be honest with you. This is what it is.
Mhm,
And it's truly eye opening for her to not only hear it, but to receive it. And I want her to use it as a part of her life
yeah.
lessons. Even sometimes watching TV. What was the TV show that just came out? The black with the boy and the girl, and they kept going back and forth. It just came out this summer.
Oh, so
She's
No,
like, "I don't know what you're talking about, mom."
it's this show that came out this summer, and it kind of reminds it gives you a very nostalgic.
Oh,
It gives you a very nostalgic feeling, but I like stuff like that as an eye opener so we can see how things play out,
Mm-hmm.
so we can see the different lessons,
Mm-hmm.
so we could talk about how would you have did this,
Mm-hmm.
how that happened probably in my
Mm-hmm.
past, and how what I learned from it and what I don't want you to
Jennifer
go
wants to know
through.
if the show is
Now,
called Forever. Is the show called Forever?
forever,
yes,
yes,
forever.
that is my jam. But I like to use that with the different teens because I actually do mentor a couple of different
Mm-hmm.
teenagers. Let's use this as a conversation starter.
Yes.
Not everybody want to watch it. Not everyone want to read a book, but let's watch this movie. Let's turn it into a dialogue. A lot of times as children, we was told to be
Yep.
quiet. We was to hear, but not talk and learn and express.
Mm-hmm.
These children need to learn, and we also as parents need to listen and hear what they saying and contemplate what they saying
Yes.
without just no. Let's actually
Mm-hmm.
support them
Mm-hmm.
in a way that it is actually beneficial to the whole
Mm-hmm.
entire community.
Right. Yeah, because screaming doesn't work. I mean, then it says there's the nurse and the
It give me headaches.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And sometimes children will take you there, right? And especially as teenagers. So you are allowed to, as a teenager, be a teenager, which means you're not going to understand everything, you're not going to get everything, you're going to get on the nerves of the family members around you as you're doing what you're doing, because you're learning as you're experimenting as you're learning, right? So that's important. But I hope this conversation today is something that, Nasara, I hope this conversation motivates and inspires you, because you've just inspired 74 messages on here. People are talking about you and your mama, right? Where's Forever? What station does Forever play on?
Netflix, I
Is
believe.
it back out yet? Because I know it was.
No. That one stayed on. I believe that one stayed on. It was a series.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay. So I'm going to go back because I did watch the first.
It definitely gives me a different world type vibe.
Yes, yes, I watched it. I just couldn't remember the name of it either. But I just wonder if the next season is out yet, so we can.
No, not
Not yet.
yet.
All right.
It's
So I need to. Um, okay, Sarah, thank you.
You're
Are you
welcome.
glad you did this?
Yes, I'm glad.
So the village over here says, I just want you to know, we want to be able to hear a check-in in a few months. We are
Okay.
invested. He said, we are invested in your success. Seriously. So if there's anything that we can do, and again, this village over here, because you know, people attract your people are attracted to who they are, right? So show me your top three friends, I'll tell you who they are. I deal with nothing but kindness over here. Nothing. If you can't treat people
so.
well, I'm not trying to hear it. I just don't want to be a part of that foolishness. You understand what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Yeah.
So we step up and we help people a lot.
And I appreciate y'all. And as a very goal oriented family, I'm going to give y'all something to look forward to the check in. Inshallah, by the time we check in, Nasira will have her driver's license because, yeah, she's taking driver's lessons right now.
Yes.
We're going to get her a car. And one of my goals this year is to get back into nursing school because I would actually want to be a certified nurse and midwife and nurse practitioner. And I've been helping so many people over the last year. And I know it was God's plan for me not to have been in nursing school for the last year, but I feel as though, and the Lord knows best, it's time for me to get back into school. It's time for me to get to the next step. So by the time we come back, I hope to tell y'all that I'm back in school, and I hope to tell y'all that she's driving her own car.
That's
That's our
awesome.
goal. That's
So it's
our term.
now August. I want to check back in around November. You
Yeah,
reach back out.
for sure.
I am so grateful that you stopped me at the Philiseeds event, Mom.
Thank you.
I'm so grateful because this is why I tell folks never to look down on anything. You must have sensed, or maybe you heard me saying it on the stage, that young people are everything to me. Everything. Remember when the young man was giving his
It
speech?
was just, remember I told you you was giving me princess vibes from the beginning. She had the hair. She had the outfit. I was like, yes,
Yeah.
auntie.
Yes, and then when the young man was giving his speech and everybody was talking, and I got up to the stage, I can't tell you how many white people stopped me and said, "I can't believe you were able to get 400 people quiet in the room." Because I'm like, dude, he's speaking.
You don't know who we
Too funny. I look forward to having more conversation with the both of you. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to what you do this semester in school. You've inspired a whole bunch of people. Danette says this young lady should put this on her resume as a motivational speaker. You motivated a whole lot of people this morning.
are.
And Pretty
Listen, I thought
JA
you
says, Lord,
were
what a blessing. Oh my God. And Viola says, a beautiful home with love and kindness. See?
oh, I try
Oh, you're doing more than trying.
so
She
much.
she she made you really proud, and she made us all incredibly proud. And so we look forward. And when you're getting ready to graduate, reach back out to us because the village will show up to that graduation with gifts in hand. We want to
Thank
make
you.
sure you are okay. All right.
Yeah,
Are you already thinking about where do you want to go to school after you leave high school? After you finish, because you're gonna have your um you will have your one degree, your associate's degree. So do you know where you want to go after that?
I really don't. I
You got
don't.
plenty of time, honey. And the way this earth is shifting and changing, it'll probably change 455 times before you decide where you want to go. So don't make up your mind now.
Naira is absolutely amazing with skin. When she was younger, I bought her a professional makeup artist kit. I am truly trying to guide Nasyra into becoming, because I'm also a cosmetologist. I wanted her to go to cosmetology school so she could have a larger array. But even if she just do esthetician, because she absolutely loves the skin, she's good with makeup and everything like that.
Mhm.
And you can work for yourself and you can work wherever you go.
Absolutely. So there's a young man that does my face. His name is Ira Anthony. Would you be okay with meeting him, mom? Really great young man. And I don't let anybody else touch my face but him. So you got to know he is the one that had me beat that day.
Mm.
And he is, I believe, he is willing to. He actually just finished writing a book around skin and makeup and what you should do. It's nice to have a mentor, but I need you to meet with him. Really kind, really gentle. I vibed with him because he didn't talk about his clients, right? He doesn't talk about his clients. He's very quiet. He has soothing music. He shows up on time. He has clean brushes for every single client. He has a different set of brushes and just beautiful soul. And I watched him grow. Reach out to me after the show. Now, I may not get back to you for a few days because I have a really full schedule, but reach out to me after the show. I'll connect the both of you and see if, he can do a little bit of mentoring while she's going through all of that, right? Because we all could use mentors. Okay.
Appreciate, definitely will.
You're so welcome. Have a good one, my darlings. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank
All
you.
right. Bye
The
See
bye.
you,
rest of your day.
Auntie.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye. Oh, listen. Listen, I don't know. These shows are getting longer and longer because I should have gotten off of here 18 minutes ago. Monica says, I am so full, happy, and grateful to witness this joyous young lady. I can't wait to share you with my granddaughter. Dennis says, oh, that's a great one. Dennis says, really, Dennis? Are you serious? She says, give her a Marvel mug and send me the bill. I'll send you the bill. Donna says, Ira is the greatest of all time. He really is. Her skin, you can tell she takes care of her skin. Yeah, Marguerite, you can tell she takes care of her skin. It is vibrant and glowing. I so appreciate all of you. And part of the honesty when I and yes and Marquita with divinity from the product perspective, absolutely. Thank you, Marguerite. Thank you so much. And the esthetician, about doing the face, the facials. And I also Dr. Archima has a brand new space too where they do esthetician services, so she can have a couple of mentors sight on scene, right? So we'll use Marquita and we'll talk to Dr. Archima about esthetician services, and then we'll grab Ira to talk to her about the makeup and how to apply it and what to do about the skincare when you're applying makeup because it all makes a difference. I love you all. I do. Um, it's hard some days and it just feels like there's a lot going on. Shaquilla said I needed this today. I'm grateful because we just talked about tech jobs being taken away, students studying getting six-figure jobs, then they take them away because AI is doing this. Everybody needs to have a different skill. Everybody, everybody. And Shaquilla, I needed it too. I woke up this morning, I have a lot going on, I have a lot to do. And I was like, all right. So I'm now motivated and inspired by a 16-year-old to get my stuff done this afternoon. All of it by this afternoon. Love you all dearly. This episode of Mornings with Mother is officially over. I am Andrea Lawful Sanders. I'll see you when I see you. Bye, everybody. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye, darlings.